Hello. Welcome to the Write With Me live stream. I am still getting everything posted. My little guy ran off with my phone earlier, and so I am a little bit late to the party. So that is why we are starting a tad later than we typically do. So apologies. But let me come over here, link for social media that we are live, just in case anybody else out there is waiting to join us. So click to join. Aha. Okay, I have had a really nice Sunday. Speaking of Finn, I spent a lot of time with him today. We tend to go and get like quality time. We usually go out we can just go out for adventures is what we usually say, the two of us. And so I have had a ton of Finn time today, which has been fabulous. Very, very fun. I really enjoyed it. So it is time now to buckle down, get to some writing. I am ready. I have a cherry Coke Zero tonight for my drink of choice. What are you guys having? What creature comforts do you have with you tonight? Are you somebody that likes to listen to music? Because that's what I'm doing. I tend to play the same song like on repeat though. So I am currently replaying some Ed Sheeran like crazy. That is what I am doing. But yeah, super fun. I'm getting ready to get back to my draft of Submitting to the Beast, which is book 2 in my duology coming out in a few months, the Billionaire Beast of New York duology. It is a spicy vampire and a spicy werewolf romance. Very, very much spicy. Spicier than stuff I've read before. I'm having a great time writing it, and that is where I am picking up today. I am 27,469 words into this book. I'm on chapter 11. I did a lot of writing last night. My husband had an event, so he was out once I got our sundown. I had the whole evening. So I stayed up late, did a ton of writing. It has been a great writing week for me, and I am hoping to maybe bang out another 1,000 words tonight. That's the goal. So I like to track how I start the sprints. If you are new, hi, hello. My name is Amy Prokopis. I am an indie author. I'm based in Oklahoma, and I write paranormal romance and romantasy, always with a bit of spice. That's me. And we go live every single Sunday at 8:30 Central Standard Time. And during these live streams, we will do 3 productivity sprints. So we will work for 25 minutes and then we will chat. We'll do 3 of those 3 rounds of that. And in between, we will chat about, I don't know, just writing books, where I am in my publication process with everything, answer any questions that you guys may have, just enjoy in our successes. So feel free to chime in the chat what you are working on. I think I dropped it in there already. Tell me what you are working on tonight. Like I said, I am going to be working on Submitting to the Beast. It's going to be a great night. I am super excited. So I would love to know what you guys are working on. So please chime in the comments in the chat. If you are watching this back at a later date and this is no longer live and you're just watching the replay, tell me what you are working on at that moment. If you're using the sprints, maybe just to help get yourself some, I don't know, writing time. Sometimes it's super, super nice to do these co-writing sessions, which is why I do them. It's a lot of fun to have other people along for the ride. So that, I believe, is pretty much it. So yeah, I don't think I have any other updates for you guys. I guess the only thing that's new since I last chatted with you, because we didn't go live this last Sunday, my sister was in town, and she lives across the country, and I don't get to see her in person very often. So it was a really special event. So I took the entire weekend off from things so I could spend some time with her. So we weren't live last weekend on Sunday. So it has been like 2 weeks since I've seen you guys. In between that time, yesterday I had a book event. It is a library event. I've done this event every single year that I have been a published author. It is just kind of a community thing for me. It is definitely not a huge event. It is not, I don't get, other than like community involvement and making connections, I don't tend to like receive back a ton of sales or anything. It's strictly just for me to network and chat with readers and just be in my hometown community, because it's just super special being back kind of where you started and being back in that community and the atmosphere, and just it's kind of a way for me to give back in some ways, just to be a part of that environment and show gratitude. So it's always a really fun event. This year, there were a lot more authors than in the past several years and a lot more foot traffic. So I got to meet new people that I hadn't been at this event with before. I would say there were quite a few who were like debut authors or really new on the scene. That was really fun, getting to be around new authors. Because I remember doing this event when I was an when I was a baby author just starting out, and I would make my rounds, ask other authors questions and network in that way. And now I find myself being asked questions more and just giving my input as far as my experiences. And so it's just really, I don't know, funny to see how things evolve and also how this event has evolved, but I ramble. So we really need to, I keep forgetting to put the ticker on down there also. So we should go ahead and move into our first sprint of the night. It's been going on towards 10 minutes. Let's open the can. I did the little influencer tippy tappy thing. Something about me, I hate ASMR. I hate those kinds of sounds. I think it's an ADHD thing for me. I find them like grating on my ears, like nails and chalkboard grating. I really hate it. So every now and then I'll catch myself doing that, but afterwards it just does something to me. So I don't know, but I have a little bit of caffeine for the ride. We're going to start things off. Let me come over here because I like to, like I said, I like to I like to track my sprints and my progress. So I am starting sprint number 1 I will be writing at 27,469 words into my draft of submitting to the beast. All right, so that's where I'm starting. If you are somebody that also likes to kind of track your progress as you go, just gauge how things are going, drop your count into the comments also, and we can cheer each other on. I also kind of tally things up in my planner every week. So there is that. I also have my earbuds because I will be listening to music while I write. So what I'm listening to right now, like I said, I'm kind of still collecting songs into my playlist for this particular book. Funnily enough, all of the music that I have found myself coming to has been like 2000s pop kind of club music. I think it's because the main character in this book, the female main character, is currently working at a club. She is a dancer. She has professional dancer background, which she has kind of put on pause so she can go back to her hometown because she has like unfinished business, essentially, that she just has to take care of before she feels like she can move on from some traumatic events in her past. And so that is currently where she is. She feels stuck. So I am also kind of going into the past and listening to that kind of music. But the song I've been listening to on repeat is not quite that old. It's only 6 years old. And I've been listening to South of the Border by Ed Sheeran. I don't know. It's just really, I don't know. It has that pop vibe. It's just what I've landed on for this last chapter. And so I am continuing with that. Maybe we'll listen to something else soon. But we need to get going into our first sprint of the night. I have put that down below. Sprint 1 of 3, 25 minutes on the clock. I will mute myself. There will be no audio on this video. So if you are like me and like to listen to your own music, you will be able to uninterrupted. So 25 minutes on the clock. I will see you guys in a little bit. 3, 2, 1, sprint. All right. It took me a minute to come back around. It also took me a minute to get into that sprint. I had to go back and like reacquaint myself a little bit with where I'm picking up in this chapter. So I actually only wrote a couple hundred words. I am at 27,977 words. So that means that I wrote 475 words, which is actually not too bad. I typically can kind of hit 500 to 600 words per sprint. So that's actually not that bad, especially considering I needed a minute. Oh my gosh, it's not a great time to have hiccups. All right, so that is the first sprint. We get a little bit of downtime now. Break number 1, it says below, we're talking about Taming the Beast updates. I don't really have any writing updates. I have been putting out progress reports of the sort on Instagram every week. I've been doing a more in-depth version of that on my Patreon for free and paid members. So if you join for free, you can get those weekly updates at Patreon as well, and they're much more in-depth there. I also don't give that information just like anywhere else. It kind of goes into the vlogs here on YouTube, but it's much more organized in those posts. So if you care about getting those kinds of updates, the link for Patreon's below. I actually dropped the price of my paid tier also, since Apple and such has input so many other fees. I realized that, my actual tiers were not that expensive, but when you added in all those additional fees and stuff, it was kind of a lot. And I just didn't want, I just didn't want people to be paying in that much. So I dropped it to $3 a month. So you can join there if you would like. But I don't really have too many updates. Taming the Beast, speaking of the book down here in that ticker, is with my editor. We are about halfway through the professional editing phase. I will get that back at the end of the month. And then I will quickly go through the feedback, implement my own changes and things. I already have things I think I need to adjust, just writing in book 2, submitting to the Beast. There are some details like plot-wise that I have since ironed out a little bit more that didn't really make a difference in Taming the Beast, but in order to set up submitting to the Beast, I need to make sure that they are in book 1 a certain way. So they're not really a problem within that draft, so I don't expect my editor to catch it. But it's something that I need to go in and adjust and probably make a note so that when she goes to read submitting to the Beast, she gets sort of the context that that's a little different. But once I get that back at the end of the month, I'm going to hurry up, implement my edits, and do some of that adjustments because I need to get it to my to PA Bestie Jill, my personal assistant, to proofread. She has a fantastic eye at the teeny tiny mistakes, and she has been dying to read this book, but she has a trip, and at times really close to when I get my book back from my professional editor. So I have to hurry up at the end of this month. And basically I have like 2 to 3 days to finalize those edits and get things like the bigger issues kind of fixed and ironed out so that I can then hand it off to her so she can do some of those other like teeny tiny little details in between everything. So it's a quick turnaround. But so I guess I do kind of have an update on Taming the Beast. I don't think I have much else. I am getting ready to do some serious plotting in the next several weeks for the 3rd Curse of Wings book. I am excited. It will be super fun to get back into that world. I've been reacquainting myself a little bit with the story recently. I've been kind of flipping through book 1, through book 2, looking at my outlines for those and the in my chapter by chapter outlines just to kind of keep it fresh in my brain to go back to those details. Yeah. I dropped stuff. So that's really the big updates there. Yeah, I am excited to get back to their story. I really like being in Lily's headspace, but I really like Angel. He's one of my favorite male main characters I've written. I definitely have kind of a soft spot now for Jameson from Taming the Beast. He's just really he's just he fits that more morally gray descriptor very nicely. He's got such a rough edge about him, and him working alongside Archer, who is the main character of Submitting to the Beast that I'm writing now, who's much softer, super nurturing, very much like a self-sacrificing kind of leader. They're just very different characters, and they just like I think the best way to describe them is good cop, bad cop. That's kind of how they work together and interact, and how they handle difficult decisions and problems is very different, but also very beneficial when working in tandem. So I'm having a great time with them. So they those three, Angel, Jameson, and Archer, are all some of my favorites I've written. And it's been fun because they also all appear at some point together. So I haven't said that definitively until right now. But yes, I have said that a character from Curse of Wings does appear in this duology, and it is Angel. So not hugely like a plot point. You don't have to read this duology to read all of Curse of Wings. You could skip the duology if you don't want the spicier stuff, or vice versa. You don't have to read Curse of Wings to understand his part in these books. But I couldn't help myself. I love Easter eggs in stories and stuff and movies, and I had to drop one in. So yes, that's that. All right. We are ready for sprint number 2. We have 2 more sprints left. I am starting number 2 at 27,977 words. So that is where we are right now. And that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead, gear up for sprint number 2 of 3. 25 minutes is on the clock. 3, 2, 1, sprint. All right. I think, well, it got stuck in my hair. So I think that was a better sprint. Let me do the math on it. 28,462 words. So I wrote a little bit more, 485 words. So, I mean, that's pretty good for 2 sprints, I would say. Hopefully all of you guys that are watching, hanging out, are also getting a lot done. Yeah, I'm almost at 1,000 words for the night. Honestly, if I can get 1,000 words in these kind of like shorter writing sessions, like these live streams, that is pretty good for me. That is kind of what I shoot for most days. With this book, I have been trying to get closer to 2,000 per day. I usually write over 1,000. When I do writing every day, I typically write well over 1,000 words, but I have been trying my best with this book to get as close to 2,000 words per day as I can, at least to make it like an average per day. I feel like I am finally settling into more of like a normal routine. At least it's been normal for me now. It has taken me a while to find something consistent, is what I mean. I feel like I talk about my routine a lot. And the truth is that I've developed routines and they just haven't been as consistent over time as I would like them to be. This one feels like a really manageable sweet spot though. So been trying to write closer to 2,000 words per day, except on Fridays because I don't work as much on other tasks. I have most all of Friday to write. So I call them 5K Fridays, where I try to hit 5,000 words. And I have been successful at that. It's been really nice. So when you average it all out, it ends up being about what I'm saying, like about 2,000 words per day. When I look at my progress across the week. So yeah, hopefully we will get at least another almost 500 words in this final sprint, and that will take us over the 1,000 word mark. I don't plan on staying up super late tonight just because I did the night before and I have a longer work day tomorrow. We also have a lot of other events after work that I have committed to. So, yeah, I don't have quite as much downtime for tomorrow, and I want to make sure I am well rested for that. So I don't plan on staying up too much later past our live stream tonight. So we'll see. But speaking of, I think that we might be in a good spot to just kind of skip this part. I already told you guys the Curse of Wings series updates, which is that I am starting to prep for the drafting phase. I'm doing a lot of work on plotting and just getting all of the story details for the final 2 books ironed out. So when you look at the series as a whole, we are halfway into the series. And so the next 2 books are going to heat up a lot for a lot of reasons, plot-wise especially, because we are getting closer to our conclusion to finishing this series. Yeah. And when I say closer, I mean like we're still like a year away from it, but I'm trying to make sure I have all of my ducks in a row, because things that happen in book 3, which I'm getting ready to write, need to be very carefully considered just so that I am properly setting up the end of the series, and make sure all the pieces are converging in the right ways. So that's really the only update. And I had already told you guys a little bit of that. So I think we should just go ahead and move into our final sprint of the night, sprint 3 of 3. We're going to do another 25 minutes and then we will come back, kind of wrap up, set our intentions for this week, see what kind of progress we can make. So there's that. 25 minutes on the clock. 3, 2, 1. All right. I slowed down a lot this last sprint because I'm in like some romantic tension right now. And so I was being super careful about how I wrote it. So I only wrote 346 words. I did not get very far. So I am going to at least get through this part before I go to sleep. Just finish this thought, finish this little moment, which should be easy enough to wrap up because I believe there will be a short scene break anyway. So there's really not a whole lot left. Plus, I think we're already ending a little earlier in the night than a lot of times we do. So it's okay. I did write 1,306 words for tonight's live stream, though, which I am very pleased with. So that's awesome. I'm actually going to note that down. That's what I got. So now going over to my planner, I can officially flip that page. I just smacked the wall. Ouch. And I can look ahead. So like I said, I have a really long day tomorrow. I have a lot of like events in my schedule this week, but honestly, to some degree, I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoy structure. So I'm excited. And some of these events, I think are going to allow for extra writing time because it basically consists of me like waiting around for some things. So like to get tasks accomplished, I kind of have to wait on some things. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, which is a weird thing to say because it's going to be busy this week. But I do think I am going to get a lot more writing done. I may touch base with my editor this week because she's about finished because I get my book back to me not this Thursday, but the next Thursday. So we are closing in on the end of that process. And I'm really excited to see what she thinks, get comments back. I think even more so, I'm just really excited to get this book really polished and hand it off to my PA. Because I think she's going to love it. It's something a lot more like what she enjoys reading. And so I'm excited to see what she thinks because this is kind of up her alley, closer than what I typically write. This is much sexier stuff. So I am really looking forward to this week. So hopefully you guys will all have a good week as well and get a lot of things accomplished. I think it's going to be great. We can do great things this week. And yeah, springtime. Good things are coming. It's a season of like growth, new beginnings, and I think we can all start off on a really good foot. So that's all for tonight. Definitely like the stream below. It helps out a lot. Check out the links down below for my social media. I'm really active there. I'm going to be announcing stuff super soon since we are getting closer to publication things for this duology. So be on the lookout. Make sure you're following there. And I hope you have a really great week. I will see you guys next Sunday for the next Write With Me live stream. Read books, be kind, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.